Hey everybody, Dan Ruden here, your AJ instructor, with our latest look at the job openings in law enforcement in California. I just got my fresh copy of PORAC News. This shows up in the mailbox. This has all these really nice, expensive, glossy job opening ads in it. There's some good ones this month. So I want to take a little tour in the PORAC News, but I'm not going to make you look at the magazine. Let's go look at the website, and that's where we will check out the latest job openings. All you need to do is go to porac.org to get to where I'm going, but I want to add my commentary to what I'm seeing out there. Up here in the upper right corner, we click on jobs at the PORAC website, and here we go. They got a couple of featured jobs that show up here in the top bar, but they're also repeated down here in the vertical list. So let me define a couple of these terms before we get started. Starting at the top, you have laterals. Now, these are people who are already experienced. They're working somewhere as a police officer. And typically, what they're looking for is somebody who has more than a year on the job as a sworn police officer in California, because what that means is they're going to have their post basic certificate, and that would make them eligible to be a lateral. The next position that we'll see in here is something called an academy grad. That's somebody who has already gone through a police academy post approved, whether that be an intensive academy where you're there full time, or maybe it's a modular academy where you accomplished the full academy, but in 3 pieces. And incidentally, Sierra College offers 2 of those 3 pieces. And once you've taken all 3, then you are an academy grad. And you can show up and look for one of these academy grad positions. And the other version is called either a trainee, a recruit, or entry level. So those would all mean the same thing: trainee, recruit, or entry level. That's all the same. And what that means is that you are a qualified applicant who went through the testing process, and they want to hire you and pay you to go through the academy, which I think is a great deal. There wasn't so much of that going on when I was just starting out. If you wanted to be one of those types, academy grad, you had to put yourself through. Very few departments would pay you and put you through, except for the big ones like LAPD, California Highway Patrol. They've always done it that way. Now, more and more of the smaller and mid-size agencies are also putting people through the academy. And so you're looking for a term recruit or entry level. And that means you have no credentials, but that would be an entry level person. So as long as we now understand the terms, let's see what's available out there. Let's start off with Sonora. Now, Sonora, that's a nice place. It's up in the mountains, right? They are recruiting for lateral police officers. If you're lucky enough to be a lateral and you're looking to move somewhere, get another job, there's Sonora. Now, this is what I was focusing on, is the salary range. They're talking about their base salary range, which is without any incentives. But then they layer on incentives, and you can see how that shoots up from $46.87 per hour to $55.70 per hour with incentives. Incentives might include something like being a Spanish-speaking person, or working a night shift, or being assigned to a specialized unit, or maybe you've been on the job for a while. After 5 years, they give you a little longevity bump, and then 10 another, and 15 another, that kind of a thing. And all of those things stack up on top of your base salary range. And those are the definitions of that. But the most notable thing that I'm seeing here about Sonora Police Department is this $50,000 hiring bonus. Call it a signing bonus like they do in sports, but they're going to pay a lateral a little something extra to come to their department. $50,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Let's take a look at another one that's also Sonora. This would be a police sergeant. So this is somebody that's got some experience. It's a lateral, but a lateral who is either already a sergeant or they've got significant experience as maybe an officer in charge or a field training officer. And they're looking to go to Sonora. If they meet the minimum qualifications, they can apply for police sergeant. And that, as you can see, pays significantly more, I'd say. the base and the total. All right, moving on. So the city of Madera is hiring, looking for public safety dispatchers. In order to see what their prerequisites are, their minimum qualifications, you're going to want to click the link and look at a little closer at the job description. It doesn't say on here. Oh, it does say. Yeah, 1 year experience is what they want. So that's really the equivalent of a lateral in the police officer world. 1 year experience required. So there you go. El Segundo. I believe that's down maybe near LA, is it? Look at this. They are offering a $40,000 lateral bonus, and then it says additional incentive, lateral and entry level. I really don't know what that means. Maybe they're adding up some of these fringe benefits, like the fitness membership, range compensation, jujitsu. What is Gracie Jujitsu? Somebody let me know. Membership. Let's see here. That would probably, college tuition. So that might be the additional incentives that they're referring to. But the way I read this, it's a flat out $40,000 signing bonus. And that would be for a lateral. Moving on. Police service managers. I think we saw this last time. The police service manager is normally somebody, it's a non-sworn or professional staff position. This is at Vacaville. I've seen police service managers' responsibilities include dispatch, records, sometimes property and evidence, that kind of thing. That would be a management level position, somebody with some significant experience managing the professional staff at some kind of a government agency. And you can see the hefty salary that goes along with that, $130,000 annually. Let's go over to Turlock. City of Turlock, police officer trainee. That's what I was talking about. So this is somebody that they want to hire off the street, for lack of a better term, and put them through the academy and pay them while they're in the academy. When that individual gets out of the academy, assuming they successfully graduate, they're going to be plugged in as a sworn police officer in field training. So there's still 12 to 16 weeks of field training, and that's where you're doubled up and learning the ropes of that agency, but you're full-time police officer, still probationary, of course. But that's the growth path once you get hired as a trainee, get out of the academy. Los Rios Community College District, they're local. They're looking for a police captain. So I would guess lieutenants, captains, maybe sergeants at other agencies would be applying for this one. Tops out at $142K per year. Similar at the city of Tehachapi Police Department, they're looking for a lieutenant. Some of these smaller agencies, they are in areas of the state that have a lower cost of living. So you have to take that into consideration when you look at the differences in pay. We're going to look at San Jose in a minute. And San Jose has a really high salary, but they got a really high cost of living down there. Try buying a house in San Jose. It's not easy. So here we have police lieutenant. Same thing. That's going to be somebody who's lateraling in at a position of rank probably already. All right, Modesto. Modesto, big city in the Central Valley. It happens to be where I went to the academy, down there in Modesto. But they're looking for a lateral again. They have a hiring bonus of $20,000. Add another $5,000 on there if you have military experience. If you're coming from the military, they're going to reward you a little more for that. That type of background shows that you can take orders. You have some experience in the paramilitary structure, so that has value. And they're paying you for it in Modesto. Cuesta College is looking for a police sergeant. There's the salary range, so that's going to be for somebody who's already an officer. Kern County Sheriff's Office, looking for a deputy sheriff. So you can be a police officer and you can lateral over somewhere and be a deputy sheriff. It's the same credential. You're a peace officer in the eyes of post. It doesn't matter if it's a deputy sheriff or a police officer, college district police, state investigators and state agencies that have law enforcement. The peace officer certification is the same. So that's why laterals can move from a sheriff position to a police officer position and vice versa. All interchangeable. So there you go. They're looking for laterals and they're offering $25,000 as a bonus if you're a lateral. Also, they're willing to pay up to $5,000 of your expenses if you've got to move to get there. I noticed this on Sonora and I went right past it, but Kern County has this personal patrol vehicle program. So what that means to me is that they are assigning a patrol car to deputies and probably letting them take it home, and it's exclusively their vehicle. Studies have shown that when you do that, when you're an agency that doesn't share vehicles, that the individual officers take better care and they can get more mileage, literally mileage, out of those assets. In other words, they can keep the car longer because the car remains in better shape. Here's another lateral for San Bernardino. You can check that out. There's the salary range. I don't see where they're offering a signing bonus, but they do have incentive pay. Once you get your next post certificate, your basic, your intermediate, your advanced, your management post certificate, those are all things that you acquire over time. They're going to pay you an incentive. Could be a 2.5 or 5% incentive for each. And normally you can stack these incentives on to your base pay and get 5, 10, 15, 20% above your base pay starts to become real money. What else do we have here? Police officer lateral. They're looking for trainees, academy attendees. So I guess that's somebody who's in the academy now, and they want to identify you before you get out as headed their way. So there you go. Come explore what we have to offer. They're asking you to take a look at their link to find out all the rest of the details. So I'll leave that to you, and I don't even know where Ridgecrest is. San Jose Police Department. Take a look at that salary range, $111,000 all the way up to $186,000 annually. And that is for a police officer. A police recruit means they're going to hire you off the street with no experience, put you through their academy and train you the San Jose way. Big agency, good agency, and they are right in the middle of Silicon Valley. And so you can expect housing and living expenses to be also off the scale. So that's why the salary is high. But think about this. You go to work somewhere like this, and you got to think way down the road when you retire. Your retirement, your pension is going to be based on this. And then you head on out to some lower cost of living place. What's next? Helicopter pilot. Oh boy. I don't know what the prerequisites are. You'd have to take a closer look. They want a helicopter pilot. Do they want that person to be a sworn officer? Certainly a helicopter pilot in law enforcement needs to understand law enforcement, so that would be good. But hey, if you're a pilot or a helicopter pilot and going into law enforcement, this is a good one. I think I might have seen this one last time we were looking. And there's their salary, so you can click on that. There's Madera for a public safety dispatcher. That one's still hanging around in here, but it is well past their application deadline. I don't know why it's still here. We're going to skip on by. Sonoma County, I guess if you like wine and you like working in law enforcement, hopefully not at the same time, there's their salary range. And this is for a correctional deputy. That's somebody who works corrections, works in the jail most likely, and or in the courthouse. Hemet, City of Hemet, hiring a lateral or academy grad. There's a misplaced comma there, but I assume they just mean academy grad. And police officers, their salary expressed as a monthly salary. City College of San Francisco, they call theirs an institutional police officer, but nonetheless, it's going to be a police officer in terms of the minimum requirements. They just get their authority from a different place. City of Newark, we have Newark Police Support Services Manager. That's going to be similar to the police service manager we discussed earlier. That's somebody who oversees the professional staff, also known as non-sworn personnel. And that might be records, dispatch, evidence, those kinds of divisions. Moving on to page 2. Let's see how many more we got. City of Colton, they are looking for laterals. I don't see anything very specific, so you'd have to click their link. And we saw this last time. This is the Colorado River Indian tribes. in Arizona, not California. That's going to require some research, but if you're interested in that, Arizona. We're looking at California stuff, and that sums it up. So this all comes from, just to be clear, PORAC News. PORAC News is where I would go if I were in charge of recruiting for a police agency. I would make sure that we have an ad running in the PORAC News, because this is where the majority of laterals are going to be looking. Also, entry-level jobs, as you can see, are in here. This is not an all-inclusive list of every law enforcement job in the state. These are just the places that have chosen to advertise in PORAC. I recommend that you, especially if you have an agency in mind, make sure you check their website and make sure you check the local agency website. These all provide links back to the agency website, and that's where the recruiting will take place. So we can talk more about what recruiting looks like, and I think we have, and we will again, but I wanted to get this out to you immediately because it just landed, and of course, this was in my mailbox, but it also is always undergoing change on the PORAC website. That's all I have for you today in terms of jobs, but hey, be safe out there, and we'll see you in the discussions.